Good morning, students. Okay, so we were discussing the questions given on the solved questions given on page 208, 208. 4 questions we had already done. Okay, then question number 5. Also we have discussed. Now example 12.6. We have to discuss question 12.6. A 4 ohm resistance wire is doubled on it. Calculate the new resistance of the wire. Okay, now here it is given that a 4 ohm resistance wire, let its length is L. Okay, this is the 4 ohm resistance wire and its length is R is given as 4 ohm and let the length is L. Now it is stretched to double its length. Stretched means the wire will become thinner also. The cross-sectional area will be affected. It's not only that the length will become doubled. Okay, so whenever it is given in the question that it is stretched to double its length, so the area of cross-section will be affected. The area of cross-section will be harmed. Okay, if it is given that the same wire, the length, another same material wire is taken, same thickness is taken and double that length is taken, then resistance is directly proportional to L. Okay, but if it is given that the same wire is stretched, then okay, the cross-sectional area will decrease. Okay, so R is equal to 4 ohm when the length is L and the cross-sectional area is A. So 4 is equal to rho L upon A. We know that resistance is equal to rho L upon A. So when the length is L and the cross-sectional area is A, then the resistance is 4 ohm. So this is equal to 4 ohm, or let us keep it as R. Okay, so R is 4 ohm. Let's write this equation. Now what is done? It is stretched to double its length. That is the new length, let it is L dash. L dash will be equal to 2L. Okay, but the volume of the wire will remain the same. And volume is length into cross-sectional area. Okay, the original volume of the wire after stretching will be equal to the volume of the new wire. New wire means after stretching. The original wire volume will be equal to the volume of the new wire. New means after stretching. Okay, what is the original volume? Length into cross-sectional area, L into A. Okay, now what will be the new volume after stretching? Length becomes 2L and let the cross-sectional area is A dash. Okay, volume remains the same while we are stretching. Length into cross-sectional area, that is same. Okay, so now let us find out the new cross-sectional area, which is represented by A dash, L and L cancels out. So A dash is equal to A upon 2. That is the cross-sectional area is half. Okay, so the new length after stretching is double the length 2L and the new cross-sectional area. Why? Because it has become 10. So the new cross-sectional area is A by 2. Okay, now let us find out the new resistance. That is after stretching, what will be the resistance? After stretching, the resistance, let it is equal to R dash is equal to rho L dash upon A dash. Rho will remain the same. Rho is the nature of the material. The same material is there. Okay, suppose it was a copper wire. After stretching also the material is the same. It remains copper only. So rho doesn't change. Rho is depending upon the nature of the material. As the material is the same, so rho remains the same. Here you will not write it as rho dash. Okay, it will be rho only. Rho, now let us substitute. L dash is the new length, that is after stretching the length is twice the original length and the cross-sectional area is A by 2. Hence R dash is equal to 4 times rho L upon A. So R dash is equal to 4 times rho L upon A. So 4 times rho L upon A is equal to R and R is equal to 4 ohm. What is R equals to? R is equal to 4 ohm. What is this? R is the original resistance, rho L upon A. So, and here R is also given as 4. So, 4 into 4, 16 ohms. So, the resistance becomes, the new resistance after stretching becomes 16 times. Okay, so here in this question, it is given that the length is half. Okay, here example 12.6, a 4 ohm resistance wire is doubled on it. Doubled means, okay, this is a separate question. It's not 12.6. Write down the question for it. The question is, write the question. Okay, because example 12.6 is the cross-sectional area is doubled. Okay, what it is given, a 4 ohm resistance wire is doubled on it. It's not given that double the length. So write the question for this question, for this answer. Write down a wire has a resistance 4 ohm. A wire has a resistance 4 ohm, and this question had come in board exam also. A wire has a resistance 4 ohm. It is stretched to double its length. It is stretched to double its length. Find the new resistance. Find the new resistance. Find the new resistance. Okay, so the question is, a wire is having a resistance 4 ohm. It is stretched to double its length. Find the new resistance. So new resistance will become 4 times the original resistance, and the original resistance is 4 ohm, so it will become 16. Okay, so this question had come in CBSE board. Okay, I think in 2018 it had come. Okay, so this is the question which had come in. Now let's come to example 12.6. Now you should be able to do this question. A wire, a 4 ohm resistance wire is double on it. That is, one more wire is wounded over it. So the cross-sectional area is double. So what is given? The cross-sectional area is double and the length will become half. Okay, so the example 12.6 is cross-sectional area is doubled and the length is half. Okay, cross-sectional area doubled. Let the resistance R is equal to rho L upon A when the length is L and the cross-sectional area is A. And this is given to be 4 ohm. So R is equal to rho L upon A, which is equal to 4 ohm. This is given in the question. Now it is given that the question is not very clear. So now given that the cross-sectional area is doubled. Cross-sectional area is doubled. That is, now the new cross-sectional area is 2A. And the length is half. Now the new length is N by 2. Find the new resistance. Okay, do it yourself. You are given 30 seconds. In the same manner as we have done the previous question. Okay, in the same way, do this question and find out the new resistance. Find out the new resistance. R dash is equal to rho L dash upon A dash. The new resistance R dash, the material is the same. So rho will remain the same. L dash upon A dash, rho. Okay, L dash is L by 2 and the cross-sectional area is twice A dash is twice L dash is L by 2. So it is equal to 1 upon 4. Rho L upon A is the new resistance. What is this rho L upon A? It is the original resistance, which is 4 ohm. So 1 upon 4 into the original resistance, and this R is given as 4 ohm. So 1 upon 4 into 4 is 1 ohm. Okay. Okay, so here the cross-sectional area is doubled and the length is half. In the previous question, we had done that the wire is stretched to double its length. So the cross-sectional area will be half. Okay. Then there are few questions given on page 209. Okay, these are the unsolved questions. On what factors does the resistance of a conductor depend? Okay, we have already discussed the resistance of a conductor depends on length of the wire, directly proportional to length, inversely proportional to cross-sectional area. But if the material of the wire is different, it is depending upon the nature of the material, and also if the temperature is not constant, then it depends upon the temperature. Okay, so these are the four factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. Next is, will the current flow more easily through a thick wire or a thin wire of the same material when connected to the same source? Okay, one is a thick wire and the other is a thin wire. So we know that resistance is inversely proportional to cross-sectional area. More the cross-sectional area, let's write it here. Resistance is inversely proportional to cross-sectional area. This is question number 2. You can do it in your copy. Question number 2 on page number 209. Okay, so given that one is a thick wire and the other is a thin wire. Thick wire. Thick wire means more the cross-sectional area. More the cross-sectional area means, as it is inversely proportional, less will be the resistance. Less will be the resistance means, if the voltage source is the same, I is equal to V upon R, V is same. If less is the resistance, more will be the current flowing. So for a thick wire, the current flowing will be more. Why the current flowing will be more? Because as it is thick, cross-sectional area is more. Okay, so for a thick wire, cross-sectional area is more. So from this equation, resistance is less. Okay, and the voltage source is less, so the current will be more through the thick wire as compared to the thin wire. So the current flowing will be more through the thick wire. Okay, so you can write this answer. Next is, let the resistance of an electrical component remains constant while the potential difference across the two ends of the component decreases to half of its former value. What change will occur in the current through it? Okay, given that the resistance is constant and the potential difference is half. Okay, we know that. Question number 3. We know that R is equal to V upon I. If R is constant, V is directly proportional to I according to Ohm's law. Okay, V is directly proportional to I, then only you get the ratio to be constant, which we call it as the resistance. We have done one activity also where the ratio of V is to I is constant, and this ratio of V is to I, we call it as the resistance. So resistance is constant, it means V is directly proportional to I. Okay, now it is given that potential difference across the ends of the conductor decreases to. Now the new potential difference becomes V by 2. What will be the effect on the current? As V is directly proportional to I, V increases, I also increases by the same amount. V decreases, I also decreases by the same amount. So now the current I dash will also be equal to I by 2. So what will be the current? Current also will become half of the former value. Okay, so the current will is also half. Okay, so what change will occur in the current? The current is half. Then next question number 4. Why are the coils of electric toasters and electric irons made up of alloy rather than a pure metal? This question I had already given. Okay, why they are made up of alloy rather than a metal? Because there are two things. The first is resistivity of alloys is greater than the resistivity of its constituent metals. Okay, it is greater than the pure metals. And the second factor is, and the second thing is the alloys, they do not get oxidized very easily. Okay, they do not get burned up very easily. So due to these reasons, the heating element of electric toasters and the electric irons are made up of alloys. Then Question number 5 is use the data in table 12.2 to answer the following. Which among iron and mercury is a better conductor? Okay, so take out page number 207. Okay, no need to remember these values. Here you can see that iron has got a resistivity of 10 into 10 raised to the power 8, 10 into 10 raised to the power minus 8 ohm meter, whereas mercury has got a resistivity of 94 into 10 raised to the power minus 8. Okay, so which one will be a better conductor? The one which is having a low resistivity, that is iron is a better conductor as compared to mercury. So iron is a better conductor than mercury. Okay, so from the table we have seen that iron is having low resistivity as compared to, both have the order 10 raised to the power minus 8, but the value of iron is 10 into 10 raised to the power minus 8 and mercury is 94 into 10 raised to the power minus 8. So the resistivity of iron is less, so it is a better conductor than mercury. Next is which material is the best conductor? See from those. Okay, the one which is having the lowest resistivity, that is silver. It is having the lowest 1.60 into 10 raised to the power minus 8 ohm meter. The resistivity of the silver given in this table is 1.60 into 10 raised to the power minus 8 meter. So, silver is the best conductor. Okay. Next we come to the resistance of a system of resistors. Okay, now the resistors can be connected in different manners. Here we will discuss about series combination of resistances and the parallel combination of resistances. Okay, now in series combination, there are three resistors having resistances R1, R2 and R3. If they are connected one after the other, okay, these are the three resistors having resistances R1, R2 and R3. They are connected one after the other, okay, which is connected to a battery and a key. This is the full circuit. Okay, this type of combination is called as the series combination of the resistances or the series combination of the resistors. If they are connected in this manner, okay, the same three resistors of resistances R1, R2 and R3 are connected to a battery, okay, and to a key. If they are connected in this manner, then such a combination is said to be parallel combination. So this is the series combination and this combination is called as parallel combination of the resistances. This is parallel one. That is all the ends of these resistors connected to one of the terminal of the battery and the other ends are connected to the other terminal. So this combination we call it as a parallel combination. If they are connected in this manner, it is said to be series combination. Okay, now let's see which physical quantity remains constant in these combinations. Okay, for this, let us take an emitter. We know that the emitter measures the current. Okay, we know emitter is a device which is connected in series in a circuit which measures the current in the circuit. Okay, let us connect the emitter. First, let's connect it here. This end will be positive, this end will be negative. So the emitter gives some reading. Let the current is I. Okay, now what is done? Emitter removed from here and connected over here after the resistance R1. Connect the emitter here. Again you see that the emitter reading is the same. It is I only. Now remove from here and connected between R2 and R3. Note down the emitter reading after inserting this key. Again you will see that the emitter reading is I only. At one more place you can connect it. Now suppose the emitter is connected over here. Okay, again measure the emitter reading after inserting the key. Here it will be seen that the emitter reading is high only. So what can you conclude from this activity, from this experiment? That the current flowing through each of the resistor in the series combination is the same. That is the current through each resistor, because when we are connected here, here or here, the emitter reading is the same. That is the current flowing through each resistor is the same. The current flowing through each resistor is the same. Okay, now let us find out the potential difference also. Okay, we know that potential difference is measured by a device called as voltmeter, and voltmeter is always connected in parallel in a circuit. Okay, so first let's connect the voltmeter between these 2 points, that is across R1 and R3. Let us connect the voltmeter and note down the voltmeter reading. Let this time the voltmeter reading is V. Okay, let it is measuring 3 volts, 5 volts, anything. Let us say that this reading is V volts. So we have measured the potential difference between these 2 points A and B, or between the points A and B. The potential difference across those points A and B, between whichever 2 points you have to find out the potential difference, you connect the voltmeter, and the voltmeter reading, let it is equal to V volt. Okay, now remove from here and connect it across R1, that is between the points A and C. Connect the voltmeter here. This time you will see that the voltmeter reading is not the same. This time let it is measuring V1 volts. Let it measures V1 volts. Now remove from here, connect between the points C and D. Let this time the voltmeter reading will be something else. Let it is V2 volts. Remove from here and connect between the points D and B. This time you will see that the voltmeter reading is V3. Add V1, V2 and V3. You will see that this will be equal to the total potential difference between across R1 and R2. That is when we have connected between A and B. So the total potential difference is equal to the potential difference developed across R1 plus the potential difference developed across R2 plus the potential difference developed across R3. So here you see that the voltmeter reading changes when these resistances are connected in series, and across all the resistors the potential difference, if it is V, it will be equal to the sum of the potential differences developed across each resistor. Okay, across R1 the potential difference is measured to be V1 volts, across R2 let it is V2 volts, and across R3 let it is equal to V3 volts. So the total potential difference given by the battery will be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. So from this activity we have studied that in series combination, the total current flowing through each of the resistor is the same. The current flowing through each resistor is the same. Okay, suppose 2 ampere of the current is given by the battery. So across R1 also it will be 2 ampere, across R2, across R3 it will be 2 amperes. But the potential difference given by the battery, okay, when we connected between A and B, that was the potential difference given by the battery. B will be equal to the sum of the potential differences developed across each resistance. Okay, so V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, whereas the current flowing is the same. Okay, the same thing will be done in the parallel combination. That is, the emitter will be connected in each of these branches, and the voltmeter will also be connected. Okay, let us do it. First, let's connect the emitter. Emitter we know is connected in series. Let us connect the emitter over here. Let the current measured by the emitter is I ampere. Okay, connect it over here. Remove from here. Connect it in series to R1. Okay, we are connecting it here. Okay, now let the current is I1 remove from here, connect it over here. This time you will see that the current will be something else. I2 remove from here, connect it over here in the third branch. This time you will see that the current is something else, let it is I3. So the total current, this is measuring the total current given by the battery. So the total current given by the battery, you will see will be equal to sum of I1 plus I2 plus I3. That is, it is equal to the sum of the currents flowing through each of these branches. When we connect it here, let the current is I1, here the current is I2 and here the current is I3. Okay, and when you connect over here, the current is I. So this I will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. So the total current given by the battery is equal to the sum of the currents through these branches. Okay, now let us connect the voltmeter. First we connect the voltmeter parallel to all three. Let the potential difference measured by this voltmeter is V volt. Now remove it here, connect it across R1. Again you will see that it will measure the same potential difference. That is, the voltmeter reading will be the same, V volts only. Remove from here and connect the voltmeter parallel to R2. Again you will see that V will be the same, voltmeter reading is the same. Remove from here and connect it across R3. Again you will see that the voltmeter reading is V volt. So the total potential difference given by the battery is the same across each of the resistors. So here the voltage or the potential difference across each resistor is the same. Whereas the current flowing given by the battery will be equal to the sum of the currents through individual resistances. This is in parallel combination, in series combination, ISA and the total potential difference given by the battery will be equal to sum of the potential differences developed across each resistor. Whereas in this case, the total current given by the battery will be equal to the sum of the currents through each branch. Whereas the potential difference of the battery source will be the same across each of the resistor. That is, the potential difference across each resistor is the same. Okay, so these things to be remembered. Then we'll find out the equivalent resistance on the next term. Okay, and this will be explained once again, and a question will be given based on it.